I babysat my nieces and nephews. Every holiday while my siblings partied. Hey everyone. I need to tell you about something that's been eating at me for years. It's about how my own family treated me like their personal daycare service, and what happened when I finally stood up for myself. This is going to be long, so settle in. I'm 31 years old. No kids, not married. And apparently, in my family's eyes, that made me the perfect candidate to watch everyone else's children at every single family gathering. I have 3 siblings, my older brother Marcus who's 36, my brother David who's 34, and my younger sister Jessica who's 29. Between the 3 of them, they've got 5 kids ranging from 4 to 9 years old. Let me take you back to where this all started. It was Thanksgiving about 6 years ago. I showed up at my parents' house, ready for what I thought would be a normal holiday. You know, eat some turkey, watch football, relax with family. The usual stuff. The second I walked through that door, Jessica handed me her 4-year-old daughter Emma and her newborn son Tyler like I was some kind of coat rack. She goes, perfect timing. Can you watch the kids while we get dinner ready? I stood there holding these 2 kids, completely caught off guard. Yeah, I guess so. I figured it would just be for a few minutes, while they set the table or something. 2 hours later, I'm stuck in the basement, playing with blocks and changing diapers, while everyone else is upstairs, having the time of their lives. They're eating appetizers, drinking wine, laughing, having actual adult conversations. When I finally came upstairs, with both kids crying and wanting their mom, Jessica looked at me like I'd interrupted something important. Couldn't you keep them entertained a little longer? We were just starting to relax. That became the pattern. Every single holiday after that, I'd show up and within 10 minutes, kids would be handed off to me like I was running a free daycare center. Christmas. Here. Take 3 kids to entertain while we open presents. Easter. Take the kids on an egg hunt while the adults drink mimosas. 4th of July. Keep the kids away from the fireworks while everyone else parties. The excuse was always the same. You don't have kids, so you don't understand how exhausting it is. We need a break. Or my personal favorite, it doesn't affect you because you don't have any real responsibilities. Doesn't affect me. Let me tell you something. I was working full-time as an IT systems administrator. I was trying to start my own freelance consulting business on the side. I had my own life, my own problems, my own stress. But because I didn't have children, apparently my time was worthless. How bad it got, let me paint you a picture of what a typical family gathering looked like. I'd arrive, usually bringing food or drinks or something to contribute. Within minutes, the kids would be handed to me. Not asked. Just handed over like I was a coat check service at a restaurant. Oh good, you're here. Can you watch them? And it wasn't just watching them. It was full-service childcare. Feeding them, changing diapers, breaking up fights, cleaning up spills, dealing with tantrums. All while my siblings and their spouses sat around talking, drinking, eating hot food, enjoying themselves. I remember one Easter about 3 years ago. I spent 5 straight hours watching all 5 kids in my parents' backyard. 5 hours. The youngest was 20 months old, the oldest was 9. You want to know what happened during those 5 hours? The 20-month-old wet himself. The 4-year-old threw up after eating too many jelly beans. 2 of the older kids got into a fight over a toy, and one ended up with a bloody nose. The other 2 decided it would be fun to dig up part of my mom's garden with sticks. I handled all of it alone. Nobody came to check on me. Nobody offered to tap in. Nobody even brought me a drink of water. When I finally came inside around 6 in the evening, covered in various bodily fluids, my family was taking Easter egg hunt photos. They'd already done the hunt without the kids, taking pictures of the pretty eggs they'd hidden for Instagram. The actual children never got to participate because I couldn't manage an Easter egg hunt with 5 kids by myself. Jessica's response. We didn't want to bother you. You seemed like you had everything under control. Under control. I had chocolate handprints on my shirt, grass stains on my jeans, and I was pretty sure I'd pulled a muscle in my back from carrying 2 kids at once. But yeah, sure, everything was under control. Marcus was the worst about all of this. He's got 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. And those boys are absolute terrors. I'm talking climbing on furniture, throwing food, screaming for no reason kind of terrors. His wife Michelle would drop them off at family gatherings and then disappear into the kitchen, which basically meant drinking wine with my mom and sister while I refereed what looked like a WWE match in the living room. These kids had 0 discipline. Marcus and Michelle are those gentle parenting types. You know the ones. They think setting boundaries is traumatic, and saying no will damage their children's self-esteem. The result? Their kids were completely out of control, and I was expected to deal with the aftermath. The oldest, Connor, was 9 years old and had the attention span of a goldfish on caffeine. This kid could not sit still for more than 30 seconds. Every family gathering, he'd be running around, knocking things over, jumping off furniture, causing chaos. I once watched him kick over an entire bowl of chips and dip onto my parents' white carpet, then walk away like nothing happened. When I asked him to help clean it up, he said, "That's not my job," and ran off. 9 years old and already acting entitled. The middle kid, Noah, was 6 and had the worst tantrums I've ever seen. We're talking full meltdowns over the smallest things. Someone looked at his toy. Tantrum. Time to eat something other than chicken nuggets. Tantrum. I asked him to use his indoor voice. Tantrum. And these weren't cute little toddler tantrums. These were full, body screaming, throwing things, hitting tantrums that lasted 20 to 30 minutes each. Marcus and Michelle's response. He's processing big emotions. No. He's being a brat and you're enabling it. The daughter, Lily, was 4 and slightly better behaved but still exhausting. She was in that phase where she wanted you to play the same game over and over. Watch me spin, watch me spin, watch me spin again. For hours. If you stopped watching, tears. If you looked at your phone for even a second, tears. If you suggested doing something else, tears. One time at Marcus's birthday party, his own birthday party, he handed me Noah and said, "Hey sis, can you take him for a bit? I want to actually enjoy my party." The kid immediately threw up all over my brand new blouse. I just bought that shirt for $70 that week. When I brought him back to Marcus covered in vomit, he said, "Oh man, that sucks. You should probably take him outside so he doesn't get anyone else sick." And he walked away. Didn't offer to take his own kid. Didn't apologize. Didn't offer to pay for dry cleaning. Just walked away. I ended up spending the rest of the party in Marcus's backyard with a 6-year-old while everyone else sang happy birthday and ate cake inside. By the time the kid felt better and we went back in, the cake was gone. Not one person had saved me a slice. When I mentioned it, Michelle said, "Oh, we didn't know when you'd be back in." I was in the backyard. You could literally see me through the window. David's passive, aggressive tactics. David was sneakier about it. He'd say things like, "Oh man, I'd love to help with the kids, but my back is killing me." Or, "I'd watch them, but I've got to help Dad with something real quick." That, real quick, would turn into an hour of him and Dad watching TV while I was stuck with his daughter. The breaking point came last Christmas. I arrived at my parents' house around 2 in the afternoon, same as everyone else. By 2:15, I had all 5 children dumped on me. All 5. My parents' siblings. And their spouses all gathered in the living room to drink and socialize. I was in the den with 5 kids under 10. 1 still in diapers. 2 fighting over toys. 1 crying for her mother. And the other 2 teaming up to pick on the younger ones. I spent 5 hours watching those kids. 5 hours. I missed Christmas dinner entirely because by the time I got them calm enough to leave the room, dinner was over and they were already clearing plates. When I asked if anyone had saved me a plate, my mom said, "Oh honey, we thought you'd already eaten with the kids." I ate dried out turkey and cold mashed potatoes, standing at the kitchen counter at 7 o'clock at night. On Christmas, while my family sat around playing Cards Against Humanity, not even noticing I'd been gone the entire time. Now here's where things get really interesting. About 3 months after that disaster of a Christmas, my apartment building was condemned. I'm not joking. The entire building got red tagged by the city because the landlord had been ignoring major structural issues. Apparently the foundation had cracks, there was water damage in the walls, possible mold issues. We all got 2 weeks' notice to get out. I'd been saving for a down payment on a condo. I had about $9,000 saved up, but that wasn't quite enough yet. Finding a new apartment on short notice meant first month, last month, security deposit. We're talking $5,000 to $5,500. That would wipe out more than half my savings and set back my home buying plans by at least a year. The timing couldn't have been worse. I'd been working extra hours at my job, putting in time building up my freelance business on the side. I was so close to having enough saved for a down payment, to finally having something that was completely mine. Then boom, condemned building, forced to move immediately, all my plans destroyed. I tried to think about it logically. I needed a temporary solution. Just a week or two to find a decent place without rushing into signing a bad lease out of desperation. I'd always been there for my family. Surely they'd understand. Surely they'd help. So I thought, you know what? I've been there for them countless times. They'll let me crash on a couch for a week or two while I find a good apartment. I wasn't asking for money. I wasn't asking for long-term housing. Just a temporary place to sleep while I figured things out. I even offered to pay rent for those 2 weeks. I just needed a safe place to stay that wouldn't require me to drain my entire savings account in a panic. I called Marcus first. The conversation went like this. "Hey bro, so my building got condemned. That sucks, man. Yeah, so I was wondering if I could stay with you guys for a week or so while I look for a new place." Long, uncomfortable pause. I could hear Michelle talking in the background. "I don't think that's going to work. We've got the kids, plus Michelle's sister is staying with us right now, so it's already pretty crowded. You understand, right? Michelle's sister." The woman was visiting from out of state for a vacation. She was staying in their guest room. The same guest room I'd helped Marcus paint 2 years earlier. "But sure, I understand. What about the couch?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I really just need a couch for a week. I'll be gone before anyone wakes up and won't come back until after work. You won't even know I'm there." "Yeah, but Michelle's really particular about her space right now, with her sister here and the kids and everything. You know how she gets. It's not personal, sis. Not personal. Right. Because being told you're not worth the space of a couch is totally impersonal." I called David next. Got a similar response. "Man, I wish I could help, but Stephanie's been really stressed lately, and having someone else in the house would just add to that. You know how it is." "No, David. I don't know how it is. Because when you needed someone to watch your daughter every other weekend for 4 months, while Stephanie was stressed out, I showed up without complaint. Every weekend for 4 months. I watched your daughter from Friday night through Sunday afternoon. Fed her, bathed her, put her to bed, entertained her, took her to the park. All while you and Stephanie went to couples therapy and worked on your marriage. I never complained once. Never asked for gas money. Never asked for food money. Never even asked for a thank you. But now Stephanie's too stressed for me to sleep on a couch for a week. Unbelievable." Then I called Jessica. She at least had the decency to sound guilty. "I'm sorry, I just don't think that's a good idea with the kids. They're at an age where they need routine and consistency, and having someone else around might disrupt that. Plus, we only have 2 bedrooms. But I'm sure mom and dad will help. Routine and consistency. Her kids had no routine or consistency because she let them run wild at every family gathering. But suddenly they need structure when it comes to helping me. Spoiler alert, mom and dad didn't help either. When I called them, my dad was blunt. Sweetheart, your mother and I are too old to have anyone else living here. We value our privacy and quiet time. You're almost 31. You should have enough saved for situations like this. My parents, the same people who let my 36-year-old brother live with them for 6 months rent, free while he figured things out. After college, the same people who had a fully finished basement sitting empty because they used it for storage. But I'm 31, so I guess I don't deserve the same courtesy. My mom tried to soften it. Honey, maybe this is a good opportunity for you to really grow up and handle adult responsibilities on your own. You've been coasting for a while, and sometimes life throws us curveballs to help us mature. Coasting. I'd been working full time since I was 24. Never asked them for money. Been financially independent for years. Paid off my student loans. Maintained good credit. Saved money responsibly. But sure, mom, I'm the one who needs to grow up. So there I was. Nowhere to go. Family couldn't be bothered to help. I ended up sleeping in my car for 4 nights while my stuff sat in a storage unit. Then I found a week room to rent in this sketchy house with 2 other people until I could save enough to move into a decent apartment. Those 3 months were rough. The place was in a bad neighborhood. One of my roommates was dealing drugs out of her bedroom. The other one would blast music until 3 in the morning. I had to keep my laptop and valuables in my car because I didn't trust anyone. I'd wake up, go to work, come home, lock my door, and basically live like I was in prison. Did my family check in during this time? Did they ask if I was okay? Did they offer any help? Crickets. It took me 3 months to save enough to move into a decent apartment. I found a place about 35 minutes from where my parents lived. It was just a 1-bedroom and nothing fancy, but it was mine and it was in a safe area. I spent the first week just enjoying the peace and quiet. No drug dealers, no loud music, no kids. Just me, my stuff, and the beautiful sound of silence. Then, about 4 weeks after moving in, I came home from work on a Friday evening around 6. I pulled into my apartment complex parking lot, and Marcus's minivan was parked right in front of my building. I immediately got a sick feeling in my stomach. I walked up to my apartment door, and there they were, Marcus, Michelle, and all 3 of their kids, sitting in the hallway outside my apartment. "Hey. There you are," Marcus said like this was completely normal. "We tried calling but you didn't answer." I'd definitely seen the calls and ignored them. "We need a huge favor," Marcus continued. Michelle jumped in. "My mom fell and broke her hip, so we need to drive up to Rochester to help her out. We'll be gone for the weekend, back Sunday night. You don't mind watching the kids, right?" I just stood there staring at them. Their kids were already pulling snacks out of their bags. "You're kidding, right?" I said. "What do you mean?" Marcus looked genuinely confused. "It's just for the weekend. We already packed their stuff." He gestured to 3 duffel bags on the floor. "You drove to my apartment, didn't call ahead, didn't ask if I was available, and just assumed I'd watch your kids for an entire weekend." "Yeah," Michelle said like I was being stupid. "You don't have plans. You never have plans. And it's family. We help each other out." That's when something inside me snapped. "We help each other out," I repeated, my voice getting louder. "We help each other out." Where was that energy 3 months ago when I needed a place to stay for a week? Marcus had the nerve to look annoyed. That was different. Michelle's sister was visiting. I cut him off. She was on vacation. Obviously a tourist takes priority over your sister who was sleeping in her car. "You were sleeping in your car?" Michelle looked shocked, like this was news to her. "Yes, Michelle. I was sleeping in my car, because none of you could spare a couch for a week. And now you want me to watch 3 kids for an entire weekend in an apartment I've been in for 4 weeks. One of Marcus's kids started crying. The other 2 looked scared. I felt a little bad about that, but not bad enough to stop. Look, sis, I'm sorry about what happened, Marcus said, trying to change tactics. But this is an emergency. Michelle's mom needs us. That's not my emergency, I said. You have other options. You have friends. You can hire a babysitter. You can take them with you. What you can't do is dump them on me without asking and then act like I'm the bad guy for saying no. So you're really going to abandon your family when we need you? Marcus said. You're going to be petty about something that happened months ago after everything we've done for you. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. Everything you've done for me. Name one thing you've done for me in the last 6 years that wasn't me providing free childcare. Silence. Absolute silence. That's what I thought, I said. Now take your kids and leave. I have plans. I didn't have plans. I was going to order pizza and play video games all weekend. But that's my business. You're being a real jerk right now, Marcus said. Yeah, well, you've been a jerk for 6 years. I'm just evening the score. The next morning, I woke up to 45 text messages and 12 missed calls. The family group chat was a complete war zone. My mom started it off. Mom, your brother told me what happened last night. I'm very disappointed in you. Family helps family, and you turned your back on them when they needed you most. Jessica, you really couldn't watch the kids for one weekend. They're your nieces and nephews. This is what family does. David, not cool, sis. Marcus and Rachel had a real emergency, and you just slammed the door in their face. I ignored them for about an hour. Just sat there drinking my coffee watching the messages pile up. Then I responded. Me. Let me make sure I understand this. When I needed a place to stay for a week, every single one of you had excuses. Too crowded, too stressful, not enough space, needed your privacy. And now I'm supposed to drop everything and watch 3 kids for an entire weekend with no notice and no discussion. Marcus, that was different. We had valid reasons. Me, I have a valid reason now. I don't want to. I wasn't asked, and I'm not available. Mom, this isn't about keeping score. This is about being there for your family when they need you. Me, you're absolutely right, Mom. It's not about keeping score. Which is why I'm sure you kept track of all those holidays where I spent the entire time watching everyone's kids while you all socialized. Or all those times I changed diapers, broke up fights, missed family dinners because I was stuck with other people's children. You kept track of all that, right? To make sure it wasn't one-sided? No response to that. Me, for 6 years, I've been the free babysitter for this family. Every holiday, every birthday, every random weekend. I showed up, I helped out, I never complained. And when I needed something in return, you all had excuses. Jessica told me that taught me exactly how important I was to this family. And the lessons stuck. Jessica, we're sorry about what happened with your apartment, but you can't hold that against us forever. Me. I'm not holding it against you forever. I'm just matching your energy. You made it clear that helping me wasn't a priority, so helping you isn't a priority for me either. It's called setting boundaries. Look it up. Dad. You need to grow up and stop being so petty. Me, Dad, with all due respect, you told me when I was sleeping in my car that I needed to handle adult responsibilities on my own. So I'm doing exactly that. I'm handling my own responsibilities, and they don't include providing free childcare to everyone else. After that, I muted the group chat. I didn't want to read whatever else they had to say. Over the next week, I got individual messages from everyone trying different approaches. Marcus tried the apology route. Marcus, look. I know we should have helped you when you needed it, but this doesn't fix anything. It just makes things worse. Me, you're right. It doesn't fix anything. But I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm trying to protect my peace. Jessica tried the emotional angle. Jessica. The kids keep asking about you. They miss their aunt. You're punishing them for something they didn't do. Me, I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not available anymore. You can tell them that Aunt Sarah has her own life and can't drop everything to babysit anymore. Might be a good lesson for them. David tried logic. David, if you keep this up, you're going to destroy the family dynamic. Me, David, the family dynamic was destroyed the moment you all decided my time, my needs, and my problems didn't matter because I don't have kids. I'm just acknowledging reality. My mom tried guilt. Mom, you're breaking my heart. I raised you better than this. That one stung, not going to lie. But I responded anyway. Me, you raised me to be helpful and dependable, and I was for 6 years. But you also raised me to have self-respect, and I'm choosing to respect myself enough not to let people take advantage of me anymore. My dad texted. You're being childish. I didn't respond to that one. The real kicker came 2 weeks later. David was taking his daughter to a father-daughter dance at her school, and he texted me asking if I'd come take photos because he wasn't good with cameras. Me, hire a photographer. Google, portrait photography, plus your city, lots of options. David, seriously, I'm asking for a favor. Me, and I'm saying no, just like you did when I asked for a favor. Doesn't feel great, does it? The family group chat erupted again after that. More messages about how unreasonable I was being, how I was making everything about me, how I needed to let go of the past and move forward. My mom wrote this long message about how families disagree but we work through things, and how holding grudges only hurts you in the end. I sent one final message to the group. Me, I want to be very clear, this is not a grudge. For 6 years, I was treated as the backup childcare plan. My time wasn't valued. My life wasn't respected. And when I needed help, I was told to grow up and handle it myself. This isn't me being petty or vindictive. This is me establishing boundaries that should have existed all along. So that's exactly what I'm doing, handling my own life. Which means I'm no longer available for last-minute babysitting. Me, if you want me to watch your kids, you need to ask me in advance. And if I say yes, there will be a charge of $30 per hour per child, with a 5-hour minimum. I'm not willing to sacrifice my holidays watching your children anymore. Those are my boundaries. You can accept them or not, but I'm done being taken advantage of. If that makes me the villain in your story, I'm okay with that. After about 10 minutes of radio silence, Marcus responded. Marcus, you're seriously going to charge your own family to babysit? Me. You're seriously going to expect me to provide free labor indefinitely? Babysitters get paid. You want childcare, you pay for childcare. The family discount is that I'm available at all. Normal rate for everyone else is $40 per hour. Jessica, this is insane. Family doesn't charge family. Me, family also doesn't abandon each other when they need a place to sleep. Yet here we are. Mom, I can't believe you're putting a price tag on spending time with your nieces and nephews. Me, I'm not. If you want to invite me over for a family dinner where everyone hangs out together, I'm there. If you want me to take the kids to the park or the zoo or a movie as their aunt, cool, let's plan it. But if you want to hand me your children and disappear for hours while I take care of them, that's a job. And jobs get paid. It's not complicated. The argument went on for a while longer, but I stopped engaging. I'd said what I needed to say. Either they'd respect my boundaries or they wouldn't. And either way, I was done being a doormat. It's been 3 months since all of that happened, and the family dynamic has definitely shifted. I still get invited to things, but there's tension. I show up, I'm polite, I say hi to the kids. But the second someone tries to hand me a child and walk away, I hand them right back. Can you watch Emma while I help in the kitchen? No, I'm watching the game. Can you take Tyler outside for a minute? He's your kid, not mine. The awkwardness is real. But you know what? I'm sleeping great at night. My weekends are my own. My holidays are actually enjoyable now. I'm not covered in vomit, breaking up toddler fights, or missing dinner because I'm trapped in a room with kids. Last week was my birthday. I had a quiet celebration with some friends who actually care about me. My family texted me happy birthday, and my mom tried to guilt me into coming over for a family celebration, which I knew would end with me watching kids while everyone else partied. I politely declined. Thanks, but I have plans. She asked what plans. I told her that wasn't her business, but I was spending my birthday, doing what I wanted with people who valued me. Marcus texted me yesterday. Michelle's mom, who apparently made a full recovery from her hip injury, is coming to visit, and they need someone to watch the kids for an evening so they can take her out to dinner. Marcus, I know things have been weird, but we really need help with this. Michelle's really stressed about it. I sent back my rate $30 per hour per child, 5-hour minimum, payment upfront via Venmo. Marcus, are you seriously still doing this? Me dead serious. Marcus, that's $450 for 5 hours. That's insane. Me, that's $450 for me to watch 3 children I didn't create while you have a nice dinner. It's the same rate any babysitting service would charge for 3 kids. Actually, it's cheaper. Most agencies charge $35 to $40 per hour for multiple children. So you're actually getting the family discount. Marcus, this is messed up. Me, you know what's messed up. Expecting free labor from family members while refusing to help those same family members when they're literally homeless. But, yeah, I'm the problem. He didn't respond after that. Here's what I need you all to understand. I don't hate my family. I don't even hate my nieces and nephews. Those kids didn't do anything wrong. But I'm tired of being the person who takes on everyone else's responsibilities while being told my own problems don't matter. I'm tired of my time being treated as worthless just because I don't have children. I'm tired of being expected to sacrifice my holidays, my weekends, my peace of mind to provide free childcare. And I'm especially tired of being called selfish and petty when I finally establish boundaries. For 6 years, I showed up, I helped out, I never complained. And when I needed help, really needed help, they all had excuses. That taught me everything I needed to know about where I stood in this family. So now I'm standing up for myself. I'm protecting my time, my energy, and my sanity. If that makes me the bad guy, so be it. A few people asked if there have been any updates, so here's what happened at Thanksgiving. The first one since all this went down. I got the invitation from my mom and honestly debated not going at all. But I decided to show up, because despite everything, I miss my family. Or at least the idea of what family should be. I drove to my parents' house, and the atmosphere was strange from the moment I walked in. Everyone was being overly polite, very careful with their words. David and Stephanie were already there with their daughter. Marcus and Michelle showed up about 20 minutes after me, with all 3 kids. The kids ran up to me all excited. Aunt Sarah! Aunt Sarah! They wanted to show me their new toys and tell me about school. That part was actually nice. I really do love my nieces and nephews. They're good kids. It's their parents who are the problem. But here's where it got interesting. Around 3 o'clock, right as dinner was about to be served, Jessica tried to hand me her 3-year-old. Just handed him to me and started walking toward the kitchen. I handed him right back. Nope. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. What do you mean, nope? I mean I'm not watching your kid. You want to hang out together. Great. You want childcare. That costs money. The entire room went silent. The football game was still playing on the TV, but everyone stopped what they were doing to watch this unfold. Are you really doing this right now? Jessica said. On Thanksgiving? Are you really trying to dump your kid on me right now? I shot back. On Thanksgiving? My dad stood up? Okay, that's enough. We're not doing this today. Doing what? I asked. Setting boundaries. Having self-respect. Which part are we not doing? Your sister needs help with the kids so we can get dinner ready. My mom chimed in from the kitchen doorway. Why do you have to make everything so difficult? Why doesn't my time matter? I corrected. Everyone else gets to relax and enjoy the holiday, but I'm supposed to be on kid duty for free every single time. Marcus, ever helpful, said, Sis, it's just one day. Don't be so uptight about it. Marcus, it's not one day, it's 6 years of days. Every holiday, every family event, every time any of you needed something. And when I needed something back, you all had excuses. Michelle muttered something to Marcus about me being overdramatic. I heard it. Rachel, I slept in my car for 4 nights last February because your husband and his family refused to let me use a couch, and I'm overdramatic. That shut her up pretty effectively. David tried to play peacemaker. Look, nobody's perfect, we've all made mistakes. Can't we just move past it? I have moved past it, I said. I'm past the point of being taken advantage of. If you want to move past it, stop expecting me to provide free childcare. My dad's voice boomed across the room. We are not ruining Thanksgiving with this nonsense. You're going to sit down, we're going to have dinner as a family, and you're not going to act like a child. I stood up and grabbed my coat. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with people who actually value me. Have a great holiday. My mom started crying as I walked out. My siblings were yelling over each other. My dad was doing his disappointed authority figure routine. The kids looked confused and upset. I felt terrible about that part. The kids didn't deserve to witness that. But I don't regret standing my ground. I don't regret refusing to be exploited. And I don't regret walking away from a situation where my basic dignity and respect as a person were treated as optional. I ended up at my friend Jake's Friendsgiving. His girlfriend's family does this huge potluck thing, and they're genuinely nice people. I spent the evening with people who value me for who I am, not what I can do for them. We ate amazing food, played games, laughed. It was the best Thanksgiving I'd had in years. My phone was blowing up all night. I finally just turned it off. The next morning, I woke up to a novel-length text from my mom about how I ruined Thanksgiving and hurt everyone's feelings, and how family is supposed to forgive and move forward. I sent back this, family is also supposed to help each other in times of need. But I learned from you that conditions and exceptions apply. I'm just following your lead. If you want to move forward, then treat me like a person instead of free labor. Until then, I'm good with where things stand. Haven't gotten a response yet. Don't really expect one. You know what I've realized through all of this? For years, I confused being helpful with being valuable. I thought if I just kept showing up, kept being available, kept sacrificing my own time and energy, my family would appreciate me. They'd see how much I cared. They'd value me. But that's not how it works. The more available you make yourself, the less people value your time. The more you sacrifice, the more they expect you to sacrifice. And when you finally say no, they act like you're the one who changed, like you're the problem. I didn't change. I just stopped accepting unacceptable treatment. Here's the thing that really gets me. Not once in 6 years did anyone ask me how I was doing. Not once did anyone say, "Hey, you've been watching the kids a lot. Are you okay? Do you need a break? Can we do something for you?" It was always just assumed that I had nothing better to do. That my life, my time, my energy were less important because I didn't have kids of my own. And when I finally needed something, really needed something, they couldn't even spare a couch. Not because they physically didn't have the space. Marcus had a guest room. My parents had an entire basement. But because it would be inconvenient. Because it would disrupt their routine. Because helping me wasn't as important as their comfort. That's when I understood. I wasn't family to them. I was a resource. Something to be used when needed and ignored when not. A lot of people have been asking me the same questions, so let me address them here. Don't you miss them? Of course I miss them. I miss the idea of what family should be. I miss the holidays where everyone's happy and getting along. But I don't miss being exploited. I don't miss feeling invisible. And I definitely don't miss spending every family gathering covered in someone else's kids' bodily fluids while everyone else has fun. Do you think you'll ever reconcile? I don't know. That depends on them, not me. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not refusing to talk to them. I'm just refusing to be taken advantage of. If they can respect my boundaries, then sure, we can have a relationship. But if their version of family requires me to be their unpaid nanny, then no, we probably won't reconcile. And I'm okay with that. What about the kids? Don't you feel bad punishing them? I'm not punishing the kids. The kids are welcome in my life when I choose to spend time with them as their aunt. What I'm not doing is providing free childcare services to their parents. There's a difference between being an aunt and being a babysitter, and my family never understood that distinction. Isn't $30 an hour too much? No. Professional babysitters in my area charge between $25 and $45 per hour, depending on experience and number of children. I'm charging $30 per child, which is actually on the lower end for watching multiple kids. The 5-hour minimum exists because my family has a history of saying, just for an hour, and then disappearing for 5 hours. I'm not doing that anymore. But they're family. Shouldn't you help for free? Family goes both ways. When I needed help, they weren't there. They made it clear that their comfort, their convenience, their needs were more important than mine. So no, I don't owe them free labor just because we share DNA. Family should be reciprocal, not one-sided. The real issue here isn't about money or babysitting. It's about respect. For 6 years, my family showed me that they didn't respect me, my time, or my life. They showed me that I was only valuable when I was useful to them. And when I stopped being useful in the way they wanted, I became the villain. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm not angry anymore. I was at first, I was furious. But now I'm just done. Done trying to prove my worth to people who don't want to see it. Done sacrificing myself for people who wouldn't sacrifice anything for me. Done being the family doormat. So where do things stand now? I'm living my life on my own terms. I spend holidays with friends who actually appreciate me. I have my weekends back. I'm not constantly exhausted from watching other people's kids. I'm saving money properly without having to worry about emergency housing situations. And you know what? I'm happy. Genuinely happy. Happier than I've been in years. My apartment is my sanctuary. Nobody shows up unannounced expecting me to drop everything. Nobody hands me screaming children and walks away. Nobody treats my time as less valuable than theirs. I've been focusing on my freelance consulting business. It's growing steadily because I actually have time and energy to put into it now. I've picked up hobbies I'd let fall by the wayside. I started going to the gym again. I'm dating someone who respects my boundaries and doesn't think I exist to serve others. My life is genuinely good right now. And the irony isn't lost on me that it got good once I stopped letting my family be a part of it. Marcus still texts occasionally. Usually when they need something. Last week it was, "Hey, Michelle's sister is coming to town and we could really use your help with the kids for a few hours." I sent back my rate. He didn't respond. Jessica sent me a photo of her kids the other day with the caption, "They miss you." I replied, "Miss them too. We should plan a trip to the zoo sometime when I'm free." She didn't respond. Because she doesn't want me to take the kids to the zoo as their aunt. She wants me to watch them so she can have free time. There's a difference. David called last night, which was unusual. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hey," he said, his voice awkward. "So, I've been thinking about everything that happened, and I wanted to say, I get it, I get why you're mad." "I'm not mad, David." "Okay, hurt then, whatever. I get it, We should have helped you when your building got condemned. That was messed up. Okay. Long pause. Are we good? Are we good? I repeated. David, you called to apologize, which I appreciate. But I'm still not babysitting for free, if that's what you're asking. I wasn't asking that. Then what are you asking? Another pause. I guess I'm asking if we can go back to how things were before all this. No, I said simply. We can't go back. How things were wasn't working for me. You all took advantage of me for years, and when I needed you, you weren't there. I'm not going back to that. So you're just going to hold this grudge forever. It's not a grudge, David. It's a boundary. You can either respect it or not. But I'm not going to keep explaining myself. He hung up shortly after that. If you're reading this or watching this, or however you're experiencing my story, here's what I want you to understand. You teach people how to treat you. For 6 years, I taught my family that they could use me, ignore my needs, and I'd still be there. And they learned that lesson really well. When I finally changed the lesson, they didn't like it. Because people who benefit from you being a doormat will always be upset when you stand up. Setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish. It makes you smart, it makes you healthy. And if people can't respect your boundaries, they don't deserve access to you. Family is supposed to be a support system, not a burden. If your family only values you for what you can do for them, they don't actually value you at all. And here's the big one. You don't owe anyone your peace. Not your parents, not your siblings, not anyone. If maintaining a relationship costs you your mental health, your happiness, your self-respect, that relationship isn't worth maintaining. I chose myself. After 31 years of putting everyone else first, I finally chose myself. And it was the best decision I ever made. Do I wish things were different? Sure. I wish I had a family that respected me. I wish I had siblings who valued me as more than free childcare. I wish my parents had my back when I needed them. But wishes don't change reality. Reality is that my family showed me who they were, and I finally believed them. So I built my own family. Friends who show up when I need them. People who value my time and energy. Relationships that are reciprocal and healthy and respectful. And you know what? That family, the one I chose, is better than the one I was born into. If any of you are watching this, or if someone sends this to you, here's what I want you to know: I don't hate you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not being vindictive or petty or holding a grudge. I'm just done being treated like I don't matter. If you want a relationship with me, I'm open to that. But it has to be on equal terms. You have to respect my time the way I've always respected yours. You have to value me the way you value each other. You have to be there for me the way you expect me to be there for you. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for basic human decency and respect. If you can't give me that, then we don't have anything to talk about. But if you can, if you're willing to actually treat me like family instead of free labor, my door is open. Not my door for babysitting. My door for an actual, healthy, reciprocal relationship. The ball's in your court. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for not making me feel crazy for setting boundaries. Thank you for understanding that sometimes the hardest thing to do is the right thing to do. If you're in a similar situation, if you're being taken advantage of by family or friends or anyone, please know that it's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to choose yourself. You are not selfish for having needs. You are not wrong for expecting reciprocity. You are not a bad person for refusing to be exploited. Stand up for yourself. Even when it's hard. Even when people get angry. Even when you feel guilty. You deserve respect. You deserve consideration. You deserve to have your time and energy valued. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. It's been almost a year since all of this started. Almost a year since I said no to Marcus and Michelle. Almost a year since I set my boundaries. And I'm thriving. My freelance business is doing better than ever. I got promoted at my day job. I'm in a healthy relationship with someone who treats me like an equal partner. I have friendships that fill my cup instead of draining it. I bought the condo I'd been saving for. Closed on it last month. It's small but it's perfect, and it's mine. Something I worked for, saved for, earned without anyone's help. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my family had just let me sleep on their couch for a week. Would things be different? Would we still be close? Probably not. Because the problem wasn't really about the couch. The couch was just the moment where I finally saw clearly what I'd been ignoring for years. That I mattered less to them than their convenience. The couch was just the final straw. The foundation was already cracked. Just like my condemned apartment building. But unlike that building, I didn't wait for someone else to tell me it was time to get out. I made that choice myself. And I'm so glad I did. One last thing last week, I ran into my mom at the grocery store. It was the first time I'd seen her face to face since Thanksgiving. She looked surprised to see me. "Sarah," she said, her voice soft. "How are you?" "I'm good, Mom. Really good." She nodded, and we stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then she said, "The kids ask about you. They can call me anytime. You have my number." "It's not that simple." "It actually is," I said gently. "If you want me in your lives, I'm available. But I'm not available to be used. There's a difference." She looked like she wanted to say something else, but she just nodded and walked away. Part of me wanted to chase after her, to fix things, to make it all okay. But I didn't. Because fixing things would mean going back to how things were. And how things were was killing me. So I finished my shopping, went home to my beautiful condo, made dinner, and called my boyfriend. We talked about our days, made plans for the weekend, laughed about something stupid one of his coworkers did. Normal stuff. Happy stuff. The kind of life I deserve to have. The truth is, I did the right thing. It doesn't always feel good, and it's not always easy, but it was right. I taught my family that I have value beyond what I can do for them. Whether they learned that lesson or not is up to them. But me? I learned the most important lesson of all. I learned that I'm worth more than I was settling for, and once you learn that, you can never go back to accepting less. So here I am. Living my life. Setting my boundaries. Choosing my peace. And I've never been happier. Thanks for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there realize that it's okay to stand up for yourself, even when, especially when, it's family you're standing up to. You deserve respect. Don't forget that.